Hey everyone, welcome to the second installment in my Army Collection videos, updated for 2012. Visiting here for the first time, the desert. These are my Italians, probably my smallest army in total, or at least close to it. These guys represent sort of the elite forces of the desert. I have the Bersieri and the armored forces. I haven't really got around to doing some of the more, shall we say, standard troops in the Fusieri. Frankly, it's a lot of painting for some troops that are pretty bad, but I do plan to add them because I think they're a lot of fun, and of course they're point balanced, so you get a big horde of them. Anyways, let's take a closer look here at some of the individual units. Starting off right here, I have my tanks. In early war, these guys are M13s, and in mid-war, they're M14s. The chassis is basically the same. The stats are more or less the same, although the mid-war ones can actually move. The early war guys are slow tanks because they got a much better engine. I really like the look of those tanks. There's just something about Italian armor. Right over here I have the AB-41s. These guys are pretty solid little recon cars. I have yet to use them in version 3, but I really can't wait because really they're about as good as an Italian tank gets. So I'm excited to get those on the table. Behind them I have the Simavente 75s. Now these were basically the Italians' answer to the German Stug. Or not answer, but more like a copy. Clearly they couldn't quite do what the Germans did with those assault guns, but they're a pretty cool little vehicle, and I think they're fairly effective for Italians. Alright, behind them we have M11s. Those are an early war specific tank, and they're great because I love that they have the main gun in the hull, and then they have a little twin machine gun mounted in the turret. Have yet to get those on the table, but I can't wait. I think they look like a lot of fun. Cool little vehicles. And behind them are L640s. These are little tankettes, which are basically armored cars on treads. Can't wait to get them back on the table now in version 3 as well. Although I haven't used them a bunch in version 2, but when I have, they're pretty neat. They're basically just like fast armored cars, I guess. Alright, over here, these are the Otto Sahariana units. These were basically the Italians' answer to the LRDG, sort of these deep raiding forces that would go out in the middle of the Sahara Desert and raid supply lines and do reconnaissance. Really like the look of them. In the front there I have 10 AS-37s of various flavors. They can kind of upgrade different weapons and things. Some have 50 cal, some have anti-aircraft cannons. And then behind them there I have 5 AS-42s. Now those were purpose-built raiding trucks. Everything before them were kind of hodgepodge and ad hoc refit for raiding. So these guys are actually probably the best desert raiding vehicles of the war. Unfortunately they came just a little bit late, but they look really cool and they play really well. We've had a lot of fun running these campaigns with them. So I have yet to do it in version 3 again, but I think they're going to be even better then. Looking forward to it. Alright, behind them here I have the Bersieri. You can see I have 2 big Bersieri units. Now again, I have yet to do the Fusieri since they're sort of substandard. Which doesn't mean much in Flames of War since it's points balance. It just means that I'm going to have to paint a lot of guys, which I do plan to do eventually because, it'll be a lot of fun. But I have yet to get the motivation to paint a bunch of troops. After all, I did decide to do Soviets, and now I'm a little burnt out on painting hordes. Anyways, you can see I actually have my man-packed guns mounted incorrectly. I did this kind of on the tail end of version 1, actually, when I don't think it mattered as much. I do believe these man-packed guns are supposed to be mounted facing the long edge, kind of like HMGs, but the 47s and the Soloturns in the back row there are pretty awesome little guys. They add a lot of firepower, a lot of punch, especially in early war. They can really put the hurt on your opponent. Here is my company command. You can see the unknown hero in the middle there. And there's another unit of Bersieri. Alright, over here I have my demolishers. Add some pioneer punch to my forces. They've come in handy quite a bit, actually. Behind them, Bersieri mortars. Sort of a basic, cheap mortar unit. Alright, now backing them up, I have the 75mm cannon battery. I love these guys, especially in mid-war. They're basically decent anti-tank guns. They're almost reliably veteran, and they're pretty affordable. So they can fire bombardment, but it's really nothing to write home about. I need to add the 100s. I do own them, I just haven't gotten around to painting them yet. And here are the gorgeous Falcos. I love these guys. I actually took them to a tournament recently, and they were pretty darn good. They kept a lot of Churchills terrified. Have yet to try them in version 3, but I can't wait. And lastly here, we have the, what are these guys called? The Lancia. Yeah, I call them Romulus and Remus, the twin scourges of the desert. pretty awesome, and they too see a nice revamped rule set in version 2 with their gun shield. Alright, well I hope you've enjoyed the look at my Italian forces. They're a lot of fun. I know you can see them in lots of battle reports on WWPD.net, so I hope you stop by and take a look. Until next time.